again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of WCU Athletics Chalk Talk. I am your host, Jim Zulke. I am the Sports Information Director at Westchester University, and I am pleased to be joined by the gymnastics head coach, Barbara Cordova, and senior gymnast, Jessica Meekum. Ladies, how you doing today?
We're doing great. Everything's going good here.
Doing well, thank you.
Westchester University Athletics Chalk Talk is brought to you by Citadel. And now, Coach, I guess I'll start with you. If you could kind of bring the people up to speed on kind of what it's been an odd fall for you. I know usually the girls are learning their routines and getting everything ready for their season in January, but a little bit of a different fall for you. Kind of explain some of the challenges that you've faced here.
Yeah, so definitely a different fall than we're used to. But I feel like our philosophy has been, let's just make the best out of it and get better with the circumstances that we have. And that doesn't necessarily mean gymnastics. That means like just overall people get better at whatever, you need to get better at. And so we have, one of the things about gymnastics is that in college, it really is a team sport, but before college, it's really not. So one of the things that we really work on hard in the gym is kind of uniting as a team. And what does that look like, that team atmosphere? And so not being able to be in the gym has been challenging, but what we've done is we've set up several Zooms. We work out together via Zoom a couple times a week. And then we also have team building going on once a week. And I feel like it's really done a great thing to unite us as a team. I know that our athletic trainer had some meetings with the freshmen, and the freshmen said, we're so happy to be here. And they're not even here, right? The first year students are happy to be here and they're not even here yet. And so I think that's a testament to what we're doing is working. It's not ideal, but we're definitely bonding together as a team, and that's half the battle.
Now, talk a little bit about recruiting, Barb, because I know a lot of the other teams at Westchester, they tend to stay within kind of the tri-state area. But you got a girl on your team from California, a girl that actually just graduated was from Florida. So you're kind of going all over the country. Are you kind of used to Zooms and meeting like that, or has that really been different for you still?
So, recruiting is way different than it used to be. But I mean, I am finding a lot of benefits because, we have a limited budget, and I do tend to recruit. Half of our roster is out of state and half is in state. And so being able to get on a Zoom call with a girl who then doesn't have to come and visit campus has been super beneficial. And so done a lot of Zoom calls. We actually this Friday night had a Zoom call with a few athletes and a few members of the gymnastics team where that they could get together with each other and just talk, find out a little bit more about what it's like to be a part of our team. And that was really fun. And we're going to do a few more of those. So while, I can't get into gyms or people, can't come for official visits, we're really getting to know people virtually, and it's worked out for us.
So now, Jess, switching to you, a gymnast who was plucked from the local ranks of Downingtown, PA. But talk a little bit about what it's been like for you to kind of try to stay sharp, as Coach said, without being able to get into gyms.
Yes, it has definitely been tough. Like Coach said, once you get to college, it definitely switches from an individual sport to a team sport. So it's definitely been hard trying to train without your teammates. But at the Zoom meetings, if you've ever walked by Gym 6, you'll always hear us screaming and yelling for each other. And even on the Zoom calls we have, people are unmuted and they're cheering and hollering at 7 a.m., cheering for each other on these workouts in our homes. And it's been absolutely phenomenal. Our coach and our assistant coach have done such a fantastic job of uniting our team. I cannot even express how united we are. It's unbelievable the amount of connections we've already made with the freshmen. Like she said, they said, we're so happy to be here. We're so happy to have them. And we don't even really have them, I guess. So it's definitely been, it's not the experience we thought or hoped for, but it's definitely been an incredible one and an unforgettable one.
So just to let you know, if there's any yelling at 7 a.m. in my house, it's usually because my 5-year-old is not cooperating. Though, Coach, I'll tell you, she's working on her forward rolls. So she's
I
doing what
miss
she can.
seeing her at the gym when she would stop by and we'd have a little bit of a private lesson,
Yeah.
you know, so please tell Maddie I said hello.
How much do I owe
We
you
miss
those
her.
private lessons, by the way?
Well, she's not recruitable age yet, so we're all clear there.
Okay. All right. And so, Jess, as a father of a 5-year-old, how do I encourage my 5-year-old to get into gymnastics? And what do I teach her, because I don't know anything about gymnastics?
It is such a phenomenal sport. It teaches you so much more than just how to do forward rolls and backward rolls. It really teaches you discipline, respect, time management. It's absolutely phenomenal, but tell her to never give up and always enjoy swinging around on some monkey bars.
All right, Coach. So talk a little bit about some of the community service that this team has gotten involved in. I know in past Octobers you've teamed up with the football team for Unite for Her, for breast cancer awareness. I guess you can't do that with no football games this fall. But talk about some of the successes that you guys have had in raising awareness for that and some of the other activities.
So obviously Unite for Her is just dear to our heart. You know, Sue Weldon is alum of Westchester. I was on the gymnastics team with her. So we just love Unite for Her. And, you know, obviously what they're doing some great work. So it's just been something that we've always supported. One of the things that we do, and this is kind of what the football team is doing too, is that we usually sell t-shirts and a lot of the proceeds go to Unite for Her. And so we do that every single fall. And so since we're not really doing on campus, like you said, with the football team and things, we are able to, we're going to have a clothing sale, and a percentage of our clothing sale, we will donate to Unite for Her. So, cause that's generally what we do with our t-shirt sale. So, so that's good, a way to still raise money for them and raise awareness for them. So, so we're excited about that. You know, Unite for Her, the Pink Invitational Meet is going virtual this year. So we definitely will get out there and help support that as, you know, any way we can, whether it's, you know, online, you know, virtually, you know. So we're sad that we're not going to be able to compete in Philadelphia at that meet this year, but, you know, we'll continue to support Unite for Her, and I'm sure good things will come out of that. You know, being able to reach people further, you know, like you said, that's the benefit of some of this, is that you can reach people further than just in your backyard. We also just recently, you know, Jess has a huge passion for mental health, and she has helped start an initiative at the university called Rams Let's Walk. And so, you know, I can let her talk about that a little bit, but our team is hugely now involved with that. Last year and the year before, we had meets that raised awareness for mental health illness, especially suicide prevention. And so, you know, I'll let her talk a little bit about that, because that's really what she's really started here at Westchester and with our team.
Yeah, so I was one of the founders of Rams Let's Walk, which is a 5K to support student athlete mental health initiatives. So this last year it was in person, which was awesome. We had 200 members of the community come together. We raised about $7,000 for student athlete mental health. We were actually able to hire a grad assistant to help with mental health within the athletics department, Justin Beasley Turner. He has been phenomenal so far. He's super passionate about mental health. And then this year we ended up doing a virtual 5K, which again was not exactly what we wanted, but it still ended up being an amazing event. Our team gets super involved, super passionate. They are so supportive of this event and this cause, and we still were able to raise about $5,000 this year. And Rams Let's Talk is also meeting once a month, which is awesome. That's the student athlete mental health support group.
So talk a little bit about the $5,000 you raised. Was that a surprise that you came so close to what you had raised when you actually had a run walk event the year before? I mean, that must have been a pleasant surprise for you guys.
Yes, when we started planning, we definitely were a little hesitant about it, a little worried, but we just kind of said what everyone's saying. We'll just take it day by day, see what happens. But the amount of support we got from the university, the community, it was just absolutely phenomenal. We were blown away by the amount of support that we were given.
And talk a little bit about the support from the athletic department. I think you had said like the lacrosse team got involved quite a bit, but is that something you strive to do, or did they just kind of jump on board? How did that all kind of come about, I guess?
Yeah, so Kellyanne Milliner, she's absolutely phenomenal. She helps me organize the entire event. I would harass her with emails all summer. So she was so awesome helping organize the event. And Terry also, he's so supportive of the event. Anything we needed from the athletics department, they were so, so great. And then with the other teams, Ginny, the head lacrosse coach, she's also the founder of Lax for Life. So they get very involved, the lacrosse team. We ended up having them at our event last year. And then they also supported us on social media this year. We ended up doing like a little challenge between the sports teams and the lacrosse team and gymnastics team. Were very close head to head. The gymnastics team did end up winning the challenge, but they also got super involved, and we had a lot of their participation and support as well, especially from a lot of the other teams. Women's soccer, basketball, a lot of other teams had supported, and it was awesome.
And so when you got into Westchester and got into this onto this gymnastics team, was this something that you saw right away as something extra that the gymnastics team is always trying to help people and getting involved in the community?
Absolutely. As soon as I got onto campus, I think the first weekend at school, we had done the 9/11 Heroes Race. We had volunteered at a 5K, and it was like the very first weekend or the second weekend we had been at school my freshman year. And I was kind of taken back. I was like, oh, okay, this is awesome. Like, we're really going to get involved. And then we kept continuing to help at 5Ks and other volunteer events throughout the year and continue to raise money for different organizations and volunteer work. So it was awesome. It definitely, the team itself was so willing to, like, not a single girl had any hesitation of, oh, we're doing this. It was just, this is what we do. This is what we stand for. And it's always kind of been like that. So I definitely give credit to our coach for creating a culture like that.
So being one of the team leaders, I guess it's not too hard to get people to jump on board. They're ready to go, huh?
It's awesome. The team's incredible. They really do jump on board.
And Coach, kind of talk about fostering that belief and giving back to the community with all of your teams. You've been doing that probably since you've started here at Westchester. I won't say how many years you've been the coach, I forget, but kind of talk about how you generate and foster that belief to give back to the community.
14 years. This is my 14th year, by the way. Hard to believe. But I think, first of all, when recruits come into my office, we talk about it. So I think that, that's something that they're prepared for as we, move forward. And so that helps. But I think that one of the things that I try to teach my team is that we're in the gym and this is gymnastics, but this is not just what what it's about. We can use our sport to help us in life. And, we get to do this, not everyone gets to do what we get to do. It's super fun and we get to do it. And so we should give back, and give where we can. And I think that, that just really resonates with the athletes on my team. Let's face it, gymnastics is not a sport where you're going to do for the rest of your life, right? So what we definitely work at is thinking about, okay, what does this look like once I graduate? How can I take what I'm learning here at Westchester, whether it's in the gym or in the classroom, and use that for my future?
And Jess, if you can talk a little bit about, does Coach give you a lot of leeway in what you want to do with some of these community service projects? And as the team leader now in the situation that the world seems to be in, how challenging is it for you to come up with new and creative ways to get out there and make a difference?
Oh, absolutely. Coach, she honors our opinions so much. She really will come to the team if she has asking for ideas or asking for other ways we can help. When I had come to her, I think it was my sophomore year, kind of telling her about Rams Let's Walk and Rams Let's Talk, I kind of gave her this spiel and I was like, I think we should do this suicide prevention meet. I think I would love to do t-shirts, blah, blah, blah. She said, what can I do? She was so willing to help and so willing without even hesitation. She just said, what can I do? And what can I do to help? So any idea that any girl has, she's always willing and looking for new ideas and how we can give back to the community, especially the Westchester community. Coach is an alum, so she does love Westchester.
And so, Coach, I mean, touching on you're not going to be able to do gymnastics for the rest of your life. So my daughter, I said she's trying to practice the forward rolls. She really wants me to do them as well. And they're a little more difficult for someone who's going to be 49 years old in a couple of months. So is there any advice you can give for me to do that forward roll?
Jim, once we're back in Gym 6, we will teach you how to do that forward roll. You can do it. It is never too late. It is never too late. It is never too late to learn a forward roll.
I'm going to say it might be a little too late for me. I do not want to get on the balance beam. You know, my experience with gymnastics was actually at Army. When I worked there, they have men's gymnastics. Yeah. So, I mean, I thought that when I came here, I thought what the girls were doing was amazing. But yeah, I mean, when I worked at Army, to see some of the guys on the rings, I was just like, oh my God, I was blown away. And then the coach got me up on the rings one time and I'm like, I can't even lift myself up. How would I do an iron cross where they hold? I said, I would not be able to do that because I can't even lift myself up.
Yeah.
So that ship may have sailed, Coach.
I do think that gymnastics, you know, the girls on our team and just many of the collegiate gymnasts out there make it look so easy. Yeah. But when you like try to do a forward roll or try to do a handstand, you realize, wow, like they're doing handstands on the bars. They're doing forward rolls in the air, like how hard it really is. It's a very difficult sport and very requires a lot of strength and mental strength as well.
Jess, question for you. With the cancellation of the Olympics, was that disappointing not to be able to see gymnastics at its highest level? And do you think that the Olympics every 4 years kind of is a boost in the arm for the sport of gymnastics because it takes center stage and is kind of the prime time 8 p.m. event right along with swimming usually in the Summer Olympics?
Oh, definitely. It's funny when I tell people I'm a gymnast, the first thing normally people say is either, can you do a backflip? Or it's, oh, that's my favorite sport to watch in the Olympics. It's just such a beautiful and different event and sport. And it's just so phenomenal to watch. So I definitely think it inspires people. I know watching like 2008, Shawn Johnson and Asya Lukin, they just make you want to go to the Olympics. And it's definitely something as a young girl, you watch and you look up to these girls and you say, oh, I want to be them or I want to be just like them. So I definitely think that the Olympic Games are so important for the sport. And Simone Biles is unbeatable right now. So I think she would have crushed it, but it also would have been cool to see some other gymnasts come up that have been working super hard.
Is she somebody that you look up to as a young gymnast yourself? Is she somebody you strive to be like?
Yeah, we're actually around the same age, but I still look up to her like crazy. She's phenomenal. Oh my goodness, she's broken so many barriers in this sport. It's incredible.
And Coach, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Olympics and how and what that does for the sport of gymnastics when it kind of takes center stage like that.
I definitely feel like Jess said, you know, the sport of gymnastics and Olympics, you know, everyone watches it. It's just amazing. It's just incredible. And it's I think one of the highlights of the Summer Olympics. So not having the Summer Olympics this summer was, I think, just one of those other disappointments, you know, but I think, you know, being able to look forward to it, it's still coming. So that's good. I definitely feel like one of the, you know, generally speaking in gymnastics, you know, you see the Olympics every 4 years and then, you know, traditionally, like when I was growing up and that's all you saw, but today, because, you know, just technology and just all of that kind of stuff, now we have collegiate, you know, gymnastics meets on TV, you know, regularly, and how big that has been and how great that is. and how much awareness that has brought to them, just gymnastics and what a great sport it is and the importance. Like Jess said, gymnastics is a sport, and I think all sport is this way, but it's a sport that isn't just teaching you gymnastics, it's teaching you life skills. And so I love that we can watch, some of the bigger Division Ones and some of the, mid-level Division Ones right on our television, every weekend. There's Friday Night Lights, and so hopefully we're going to see that again this season, because it's something that also has just been a great thing to bring awareness to gymnastics. Former
gymnast at Westchester, Majesta Valentine, went almost to the nationals. She was like, what was it, 0.05 or 0.5?
0.025.
0.025 off of that. Watching her compete with the girls from Georgia and Auburn and some of those that were at that West Virginia regional that she attended, and she made NCAA regionals 3 times in her 4 years. What does that kind of do for the sport at Westchester and for showing that the athletes can get out there and compete with some of those top, say, SEC, Southeast Conference schools?
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing experience. Majesta is an amazing gymnast, and she held herself so well. Not only, is she, equal to those, was she equal? But then, you're from this little Division II school, and then you go into this regional championship with all those big schools, and to be able to hold your own with that kind of pressure is pretty impressive. And she just did a great job. Her senior year just was amazing. I remember she scored a 9.9 on floor, and so she does her floor routine. Usually we don't look at scores. She turned to me and she said, "Coach, this is a 9.9 going against, like you said, the SEC schools." So I definitely feel like it was a big win for Westchester, really, to be sitting at that table. I remember sitting at the pre-meet, with all the coaches, and I forget what you call it, but a round table, when you're talking about the logistics of the meet, and everyone's going around to introduce themselves, and some of these schools are saying, "Yeah, I'm the assistant to the assistant to the assistant," and here I am, meeting with my assistant. So it was great, a great experience, and I think it opened up a lot of doors for athletes at Westchester. I feel like just open up those doors to say, wow, like, I can compete at Westchester. I can compete at a national championship, or not, or maybe compete at a national championship, but compete at an NCAA regional, but also have opportunity to compete at, the national collegiate championship that we compete at, which is huge, to be able to have that opportunity. And so that was great for Majesta too, and she was national champion there, which was awesome. And Jess, has gotten to compete at that championship, and has earned All-American honors in that, and placed 5th on vault one of her years. So I think that Majesta really opened up a lot of doors and really helped us to go to the next level.
So now, Jess, every time I try to write an article about how many All-America certificates you've won, I'm usually wrong. I usually leave one out, or maybe I add an extra one. I don't know. But kind of talk about, if you can think back 4 years to when you were a freshman coming in, who were some of those gymnasts that you looked up to at Westchester, and how did they help kind of mold you into the gymnast you are today 4 years later as a senior?
Absolutely. Obviously, Majesta is an incredible gymnast. She's set so many records and just was such a phenomenal gymnast and such an asset to Westchester's team. That whole senior class, Selena, T, Sam, that class the year ahead of me, so they were seniors when I was coming in. They were incredible leaders and people. And then every single class and person ahead of me has definitely shaped the path for who I am and who this team is, and we definitely wouldn't be the same without them. So definitely every single year, every single class, they've been absolutely phenomenal.
So what kind of, if there was a magical knowledge for you to impart on some of the younger gymnasts, what would that be? What would you tell them? This freshman class who loves to be here, even though they're not here, what would you tell? Would you tell them, first of all, it's not always like this. Every year isn't.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
what would you try to tell them?
Yeah, definitely just to enjoy the small things. Like Coach said, we're not going to be gymnasts our entire lives. It's the small memories. We always joke. One of our girls on the team, her name's Elena Steinberg. She's my class, actually. She was so excited one meet, she snapped a clipboard on her leg. Like, it's those things that matter. And it's one of our girls her mom had breast cancer and she was able to compete at the Pink Invitational meet. It's moments like that that we're going to remember for the rest of our lives. And yes, there's obviously gymnastics moments when we qualified to NCAA nationals as a team for the second time in school history. That was my sophomore year. When we had done that, that was probably my favorite moment that we've been there. Just everyone was sobbing and we were so excited. Coach came running over and told us we had to beat Brown's score and they had competed an hour before us. We had just found out our scores. It was phenomenal, but it's all those little moments that matter, and just to cherish your time with your teammates, your coaches, and your time at the university.
And now, Coach, one last question for you. You were a gymnast here at Westchester, like you said, under a legendary coach, Sandy Thiels. Did Sandy give you any advice, or did she give you any warnings 14 years ago?
Sandy is huge support. One of the things that, obviously Sandy was my coach and I love her dearly as a coach, but what a great mentor she's been for me as a coach. And she really, she volunteers with the team. She helps us in any way she can. But, she doesn't butt in, which is really, really awesome. She allows me the opportunity to coach. She doesn't try to coach, for me. She allows me the opportunity to coach, but she always has that listening ear. Like if I'm stuck with a problem or I want her advice on something, I can call her anytime. So I'm so grateful for that relationship. What an honor it is to be able to coach where I was a gymnast and also to have that relationship with the coach that coached me. So I'm super grateful for that.
And so if you could go back 14 years and see yourself 14 years ago getting into this field, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't sweat the small stuff. Take it one moment at a time, 1 year at a time. I think that those are the biggest things. I think we sometimes tend to stress about things, especially now. Look at what we're facing now, and so, don't sweat the small stuff. I do think that it's been a pleasure to coach at Westchester and an honor for the past 14 years. And every year it's my goal to get better, and that doesn't necessarily mean win more meets or, it might, obviously I want to get better out in the gym and in the competition, but with COVID, like this summer, it was my goal to get better. So I did so many, different things, learning and growing to become a better coach and to have our team to be a better team. So, yeah.
So actually I do have one more question. I lied. That was not
That's okay.
When you took over this program, this was a program, I was here. So this was a program that would score like in the 170s. And I think you would be mortified if they scored in the 170s now. I mean, they're hitting 190s now. How have you been able to make that transformation and take this program from certainly one level to the next? And is it hard not to look back and say, geez, how did I do that? Or things like that, or get caught up in kind of do you just focus on that year by year and not really try to look at where you started and where you are now?
I definitely feel like it's been a step-by-step process. So I feel like when I first came in, it was just to try to get to that next step. Okay, we're in the 170s, let's try to hit 180. Which we did, right? And then, we slowly each year got better and better. And then a huge goal was to break that 190 barrier, which we did in 2017. I might have that wrong. It was Majesta's freshman year. I know that. And so I forget what year that was. And so we broke that 190 that year. And then once you break that 190, that really helps you to continue. I would say there's a lot of things. I think one of the biggest parts of our success is the fundraising that I've been able to do, because let's face it, you need some money to have a successful program. You need to give some scholarship dollars because, it's very competitive out there, and schools are giving scholarships. So I think that was the big game changer, that I was able to fundraise and raise some money so that I could give out some scholarships. And then I think that once people come, they love being a part of our program. And so that spreads too. And so, that helps. And, we still, are able to do it. But I think one of the big things is when you start, when I started not to want to change everything, but just to do it step by step. And so each year I try to get to that next step. And I'm still doing that.
And so another big factor has to be that you now have assistant coaches. When you started, I remember when it was just you, probably going crazy, running all over the gym in between 4 events at practices. Talk a little bit about how your current assistant, Steph Plogger, has helped you, but how having that assistant coach has really helped jettison your program.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, really, Steph has, just been awesome. It's really great to have an assistant coach that was once your athlete. I think that's super helpful. She knows how you work. We definitely complement each other. She's a bit younger than me, which is awesome. And so she has a relationship with the girls that maybe I don't have just because of age. So we complement each other in the gym with our different gifts and talents. So it's really great. And not only that, but because she is alum, she's friends with a lot of alums. One of the things that I think is so great about, the experience that I've had at Westchester is most of the girls on my team remain really good friends afterwards. And I think it's because the bonds that they form once they're on the team. And so we have the support, not just of alums from long ago when I was on the team, but we have the support of our alums that are currently. And a lot of that has to do with, having an assistant coach that had a great experience at Westchester, and her friends have that. And so they support also. And also, my former assistant coach, Sherry, she was also alum. So just keeping it in the family is really good. And just having those assistants has been huge, as in the gym and outside of the gym.
All right, ladies. Well, I appreciate your time taking out, especially Jess, with all of your Zoom classes. This was one more Zoom for you. I'm sure you were probably like, oh my God, there's another Zoom.
That was awesome.
Well, thank you for having us. This has been really an awesome experience. So thanks, Jim.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem, ladies. That is head coach Barbara Cordova and senior gymnast Jessica Meekum. I am Jim Zulke. We will see you again on another episode of WCU Athletics Chalk Talk.